Okay. What is up, everyone? It's Thomas with Real Broker here in St. Augustine, and today we're going to go over a couple of different things, a couple of news stories like we do every Wednesday at 8 p.m. We're going to go over the local news story, the local stats that you need to know about, the news that you got to know if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing here in the area. And at the end of this, we're going to do a Q&A. So if you do have any questions, if you're watching it live, you're watching the replay, make sure to fire off those questions below in the comments. I'm here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. to help you guys out. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's take a look at the market stats here. And actually, before we take a look at the market stats, let's take a look at the macro of what's happening here in the country. Because things have been changing pretty drastically, and it almost seems like we have to stay up on top of things on the daily anymore with how things are going with the interest rates and the federal funds rate. So we'll dive into that real quick. Let me share my screen. Boom, boom. All right. Oh, good. Let me buy. Okay. All right. So steeper Fed rate hike back on the table after Powell's hawkish testimony. So if you've been following this at all, if you've been watching this channel here, you know that unbelievable. You know that we've been talking about the federal funds rate and how that relates to interest rates. And this is not exactly the most positive news that we want to hear, right? In reality, we want him to say like, hey, no, everything's going good. Inflation's going down and interest rates are start trending downward. But it seems that because of this, there's going to be, opposed to a 25-point basis hike, they're going to go to a 50-point basis hike, which on average, the Fed typically raises it or lowers it by a quarter point. The past couple months, they were doing it half a point, and I think 75 points as well. And they kind of slowed it down towards the end of the year. And now, because of the good jobs report that we got, I guess it came in a lot stronger than they were thinking it would. So inflation really hasn't ticked down too much. It is down overall, but it's pretty much stayed in the same position month over month. So they're not seeing the change that they want to see there. So doing the 50 basis point hike is back on the table. And when they do that, then it changes everything with the 10-year Treasury bond. And we'll probably see interest rates go above 7% if that happens. No one knows what's going to happen, though. He still has yet to do anything. But it's something that is possible. So interest rates could get worse before they get better, as long as the federal government's trying to tame this beast of inflation, which I don't know if they'll be able to do it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll make sure we stay on top of it. But it seems like every step we go in is another direction that we don't want to go in. But what do I know? Either way. Let's go on to the stats here, guys. So inventory is continuing to tick down. I think it's only a couple numbers short of what it was last week at this time, but we're still under 6,000 homes, roughly double what we were last year around this time. So we have made some progress, but we still have a way to go before we are back in that balanced market between buyers and sellers. So if you are thinking about selling your home and you're thinking, oh, maybe I'll wait until interest rates go back down, there'll be more buyers out there. Well, the inventory is low right now, and that's probably what every other seller is thinking, right? I'll wait till there's more buyers in the market. There's still demand in our market. Things are still moving. So if you are looking to sell, I would definitely consider going into the market while inventory is still low, because historically, the bottom of the market in terms of homes on the market is in January. On average, we hit it really, really late this year in terms of the bottom of the market still in March. Maybe we're still not in the bottom, who knows? And that's because of the variety of factors that are going on in the market with interest rates and the Fed and war with Russia, and pretty much people wanting to stay put because they're looking at a 7% interest rate versus a sub 4% interest rate. And like, man, it costs me a lot more to live over there than it does here. I think I'm just stay put. So we just, it seems like this market is, it's keeping on moving. So if you're a buyer in this market, same situation too, because everyone's thinking the same thing, right? interest rates go back down, great. That's a great opportunity for me because it'll cost me less on the monthly to afford my home. Yes, that's right. You're 100% right with that. But that also then limits the availability of homes, right? Right now, we don't have that many homes in the market. Interest rates are 7%, but you could probably still find the home that you're looking for. But if interest rates go back down to 5.5% and a flood of buyers come back to the market, we're going to be in that same competitive mindset. So the short-term pain of maybe having a higher interest rate versus getting the house you want may be worth it versus waiting until interest rates come down and then you're in competition with everyone else. So we'll see what happens here in the market, though, guys. I know probably going to have 5 or 6 people say the market's going to crash anyway, Tom, so what are you talking about? But, it hasn't yet, so I guess I'll keep riding with that. So let's go ahead and take a look at this next news article. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, I didn't share the rest of the market there. I just thought that was an important thing to talk about. But let's take a look at the other market stats here as it pertains. Let's see. All right, so let's just do the past week, see how things have changed. All right, so new listings to closed listings. So 1,100 new listings on the market, 806 closed listings. It almost seems like it's a reactionary thing. Like within the past 30 days, we have seen interest rates tick up a good bit, or have been kind of a flux. So that, 8 to 11 homes closing to new homes coming on the market. Pending, we have a good bit pending, though, 993, and then continue taking back up 435. So we're just going to call that under contract. That's roughly 1,300. So 1,100 new listings, 1,300 homes going off of the market. And then let's take a look here. Price changes, 1 for 1, really. 1,205 price changes, 1,143 new listings. So seems to still be pretty competitive here. The one thing I will say, especially at a certain price point, I'm looking at sub $350,000 for myself personally. And I have a different buy box than probably most people, but I'm getting beat by cash. I've lost 3 offers to cash this past month. And if that says anything, I'm a buyer in this market. So I'm going to keep pressing on. I'm looking for a very unique property, though. So I imagine I'm going to have some difficulty, but hey, if you want what you want, you got to go after it, right? So let's go on to the next news story here, guys. This one is about St. Augustine. I'm sure you've heard, if you're living here in town, if you like St. Augustine at all, it's only going to get a little bit bigger, I think, because everyone knows about it. So let's take a look here. Southern Living. The old soul of St. Augustine, the South's best small town of 2023, says the cultural kaleidoscope illuminated by pure Florida sunshine sets this exceptional small town apart from the rest. So pretty much what they said is because it's a melting pot, you got the Spanish colonial heritage, you have Gilded Age relics. Man, they use a lot of big words here. And they also say like the food scene is great, downtown is great, it's picturesque. You can go out for a whole bunch of our food scene, our restaurant scene here in St. Augustine is probably one of the best of a small town. We have such a good food and restaurant scene. Matter of fact, last week I went to Asado Life, which is a new concept where you pay, I think it was $120. I don't remember. But essentially what they do is they do Argentinian style grilling. So they grill they have three or four different grill stations around this outdoor space. And then they just cook meats and tacos and they just hand you plates and plates. You go and sit down. So it's like a whole experience. You watch the sunset and everything. But Southern Living named us number 1, the best small town in the South. And I think that's a pretty tall order because we used to be the South's best kept secret. And I've been saying it for years. We're not a secret. St. Augustine's not a secret anymore. It's not a best kept secret. But for years and years, you'd always see that in articles, magazines, the town you haven't heard of, secret little town, a hidden gem of Florida. And now we're Southern Living's best town of the South for 2023. So we've already seen people posting on Facebook. A lot of my friends are like, man, you thought tourism was bad now. It's only going to get worse. And I thought tourism was going to actually kind of go off a cliff a little bit, but it didn't happen. So we'll see what happens with this article. We'll stay up to it. But I think St. Augustine is going to continue to grow. It's a beautiful town, a lot of things to do, fits a lot of people's lifestyle. So give me 1 second here. We'll go on to the next news story here. And also, guys, some of these news stories are included in our weekly newsletter. So if you don't want to watch me live every week, if you just kind of want to read stuff and kind of get a gist, we do a weekly newsletter. It's great. I'm not the person that's going to spam you with emails. I'm not that person, you know. I'm going to send you 1 email a week. If that's all you want, you don't want to see any property or anything, that's all I'm going to send you. So either way, definitely something to do. You want to get signed up, reach out to me directly or leave me a comment and I get you all signed up. So this goes along with something that we always talk about, which is the inventory in the market. We just saw how we have 5,600 homes in our area here. That's for the entire like Jacksonville, St. Johns County, Middleburg, like Clay County, Putnam County area, right? So that's a massive area. It's probably over 2 million people. We have 5,600 homes, guys. So the U.S. housing market is short 6.5 million homes. And that's because of historical data, essentially, because every time the economy gets going, they end up stop building because then the economy goes back down and then the confidence of builders starts to go down with that. So within the past couple of years, we actually reached a reproduction rate to where we could catch up to the housing shortage that we have currently in several years. Wouldn't be today, wouldn't be tomorrow, but in several years, we would be able to catch up with the current rate of building because of all the economic factors, inflation, supply chain issues. The rate of building has slowed and the rate of permits being pulled has slowed to what would be effective to, really creating a buffer against the shortage of housing. When there's a shortage of housing, the cost of housing is going to go up. So a lot of this, it's just based off the economic factors. Really, it's really since the 80s, they haven't replaced the amount of housing that needed to happen. And really, they started to do it. .com bubble happened. So they started getting to the right rate. .com bubble happened. Then they started building at the right rate. Housing market crashed in 2008, and they started getting to the right rate. And then 2020, and then it went above the right rate for a little bit, and then went right back down. So we're going to keep track of this, guys. I think it's really interesting when you're looking at the macro and micro demographics of housing. I believe that they want to make a renter nation where everyone's a renter and you pay a landlord. And what did Charles Schwab say? That you'll rent everything and be happy. You'll own nothing and be happy. That's it, right? I don't know. I kind of like my piece of the pie. I don't know about you, but maybe that's just a American value. I have no idea. Where do we get that from? Let me know in the comments below, guys. All right, so now we're going to go over to Nocatee. So big headline here, guys. 59.2 million in permits approved to begin Nocatee apartment construction. So if you've been over to Nocatee, you know that it's a massive community. It's 26 square miles. It's the #1 community in the entire state of Florida. They have a splash park. They got 2 amenity center. One was designed by Disney. One was designed by Universal. You can ride your golf cart all over this place. It's just a great little community. That comes with a price tag, though. But either way, they're going to be building apartments in Nocatee, which honestly is going to be right off 210. That's definitely needed because, oops, didn't mean to close that there. Oh my God. Whoops. That's definitely needed though, because housing within Nocatee is very expensive, but I imagine also they're probably going to use that housing for a lot of the people that are doing new construction within Nocatee. So that, because I know they already had a housing complex in there where you could do 7-month leases, so that if you bought a house and was going to be ready in 6 to 8 months, great, you get a 7-month lease. You're not locked into that year long term. And then you live there, and then you can go check on your house every once in a while, right? So I imagine there'll probably be a lot set aside for that. But there's not very many rental opportunities outside of a single family home there. So I hope this brings some more affordability to that area. And as it changes here, I mean, as it has changed, Nocatee is probably one of the more expensive areas in St. Johns County. So hopefully help some people be able to live there, or be able to afford to live there. We'll see what happens. I imagine the rent will probably start like $2,000 to $2,500 for a 1-bedroom. That's just a guess. But I think it's, we still need it. So it's hard to be upset about it. But all right, we're going to go on to more developments here, guys. And this is going to cover a lot in St. Johns County. So I probably should just do a whole video on this in terms of infrastructure, right? Because that's really important. So major infrastructure improvements on the horizon for growing St. Johns County. As many people know, St. Johns County is one of the fastest growing counties in the entire state of Florida, but also in the nation. It's growing very rapidly. See here, St. Johns County, one of the fastest growing in America, not just making that up. And the city commission wants to be able to grow at the right pace and also make sense of things. So they have a lot of projects. I think they have 37 projects on here that they want to get done. One of those projects is going to be they want to open 4 lanes on Greenbrier to Cimarron for $36 million. That's right around 210. So 210 and Greenbrier kind of run into each other at an intersection. So that is definitely needed because that's just a 1-lane road going either way right now. And that area has all the new communities. Toll Brothers has a new community, Mill Creek out there. Stillwater has a new community by Lennar. Rivertown has a new community out there. Man, it sounds like I'm losing my voice. Sorry, guys. Let me go ahead and scroll down here, give you a couple ideas here of what's going on here with these projects. But where is it? There's another one here that they were going to do when they see congestion. Gotta say, technology is great, right? When it works, we should have you back now. Yeah, looks like we got you guys back. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Excuse me. But technology is great when it works, and then it doesn't sometimes. So I was able to just live stream everything, show you some great news stories, and then the audio cuts off pretty much at the very end, though. So I'm not too hurt about it. But guys, I appreciate you letting me know. Scott, Debbie, you guys are rock stars. Throw you up on the screen here real quick, letting me know what's going on. So I appreciate you guys being here tonight. We're here every Wednesday, 8 p.m., going over the market stats, the local news you need to know about, and doing a Q&A at the end of every single session. So if you do have a question about buying, selling, or investing here in the area, you have a question about mortgages, the best restaurants in the area, go ahead and drop them in the comments below or show up for the lives every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Here for you guys. Debbie, Scott, you guys have a great night, and I'll see you next week.